their kidneys out. They have no concept of misery. One slash, ear to ear. Crying won't do any good.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are playing Gangplank today, and that is because he received some changes this patch. So Riot took out some power from his laning phase and then put that into his late game. And they did that by making his Q count as a range attack, so that means that Grasp of the Undying won't be as effective anymore. It's a lot worse than what it was previously, because before this patch you could pretty much just Q spam the opponent, will Grasp of the Undying procs and then just bully them out of the lane. So he was a lot more oppressive previously, but now he's a lot weaker in the laning phase, but he's much stronger in the late game, guys. His barrel scales a lot better with crit now, so we will be using my old build, a build I used to use a lot on Gangplank previously. It is a full crit build and we're using Dark Harvest as well, because that is the ultimate late game setup. You're gonna one-shot people once you get the items you need. But we have to get through the early game first, and we're actually playing into one of the worst matchups as Gangplank, and that is the Lucian, because his passive, guys, he gets that double auto attack right, and that makes it really easy for him to take out your barrels before you can proc them. Your Q is the main tool you use to farm with. When you kill something with it, then you get bonus gold, and you also get some passive stacks, and these passive stacks will be used to upgrade your ultimate later on once you get enough stacks. But it is a champion that can generate a lot of gold just with that Q passive, guys, so it is important that you try to farm as much as possible with it, but not in the early game, because it does cost a lot of your mana, and you don't really want to spam it in the early game, because then you have to base very often, and that is not very optimal. Your E, the barrels, is your main form of damage, guys. It will ignore some of the armor the opponent has, and it can also crit. This is the main tool that you use to farm with later on, and also your main damaging tool in teamfights. If you hit the enemy team once with a barrel combo in the late game, you're gonna auto win the fight. That's how OP it is. And then your W is the ultimate cleanse, the best type of cleanse in the entire game, because it can remove every form of CC, even suppressions. Normal cleanse, the summon spell, is not able to do that, but your W can, guys. So you never have to buy something like a QSS, because you have that in your W. And your passive gives you that extra bit of damage on your auto attacks. That will reset whenever you proc a barrel. And that also works on the towers. It's good for farming with as well. It's also good for your all-ins. Just gonna stay back here. Try to get as many minions as you can. And we are playing GP in the mid lane, because that is what I did a couple years ago. It is really fun, because you mostly meet a squishy mid laner. So once you get a couple items, you just start deleting them instantly. It is very rough, this matchup. It is probably the worst, or one of the worst matchups, the Lucian. You just have to survive it. On the first base, you definitely want the Shin, so make sure that you have enough gold for that, because your Q procs on hit. So with the Shin, it's going to get a lot more damage on every single cast of your Q. But that's a failed barrel right there. It is very awkward early game with the barrels, because they are so slow at ticking down, but that's gonna become so much faster at level 13. So when you play GP, you're playing for that level 13, because that's when the barrels tick down almost instantly, so you can pull off some really nice combos. We got the Sheen, we also got a longsword and a control ward for some extra vision. But your Sheen, as I said earlier on, your Q procs on hit, so every single Q you throw at the opponent is gonna proc that Sheen, so you get some really nice bonus damage. It's gonna help a lot when you want to last hit minions as well, or when you want to poke. And with that Sheen, your barrels also deal more damage, and that is really important because when you get to that, when you get a couple levels, then you want to start farming with your barrels, because when you proc your barrels with your Q and kill minions, then you will also get that bonus gold that you would get from your Q. So your barrels is the main tool for farming. As soon as you get out of the super early game, you want to last it as much as possible with it. In the early game you can't really do that because you just get poked all the time, like the Lucian is doing right now, so we won't really be able to set up the barrels, but when they start ticking down a lot faster, then we can do so. And the ultimate, the global ability, guys, mainly used to help out your teammates across the map, because it is a global ultimate, so you can aim it wherever you want to. Very good when your teammate starts those 2 vs 2s, 1 vs 1 fights, then you can use that ultimate to help them out with. It slows people and it also deals damage, and then of course you can upgrade it as you get more serpents or those silver tokens. You need 500 to get that first upgrade. And then of course it does become a lot stronger because you can get some insane burst damage from the ultimate with one of the upgrades. You can also get more waves with the ultimate, or you can also get some utility by speeding up the movement speed when your allies stand in the ults. So this is one of the important combos on Gangplank. I think people call it the Phantom Barrel or something, I don't know. They have a lot of different funny names for these combos, but basically what you do is that you place down 2 barrels, then you have to stand between these 2 barrels, and then you're gonna proc the first one with your Q, and then when that's about to detonate, you place the third one. So you chain them up, and that's a way to surprise the opponent and get some extra range on these barrels. And then there's also another barrel combo where you place a barrel at the max range of your Q, and then you proc that with a Q and then place down a second barrel. So that's also another way to catch the opponent off guard with. So there are some different barrel techniques, and that's really what makes it hard to play Gangplank. It's a very difficult champion to master, probably one of the hardest champions you can master in this game, guys. Just because of the barrel mechanics and how hard it is to actually hit the opponent if he knows what he's doing. Especially in team fights where people can easily take down your barrels. You can use that passive on the towers. Remember that your passive will reset whenever you proc a barrel. So you can use that on the towers, it is going to work and it's going to allow you to take down objectives faster as well. We're gonna get the Essence Reaver as the first item, guys, and that is because of the Sheen effect. Sheen is a core component on Gangplank, and because we are going for a full crit build, then this is the only crit item that has Sheen built in. You can also go for Trinity Force and the Divine Sunderer, but that is not really a crit build, and then that's gonna delay the Infinity Edge as well, because then you won't have enough crit to make use of the Infinity Edge passive. So that's why I'm gonna go for a complete crit build. That's a bit unfortunate with that ultimate. Sometimes you can also use it in the direction that the opponent will be escaping towards, and then maybe your teammates can catch up, but in this case it did not work out. But you'll only know if you try it. Sometimes it does work out, and then your teammates will of course get rewarded. As you can see, our barrels dealing a lot more damage right now because we got the first item. And that crit right there, that is instant wave clear, guys. If your barrels crit, then they're just gonna one-shot the waves. So now you have really good wave clear. Insanely good wave clear, so now even if you're in a bad matchup, you can just focus on pushing out the waves and really scale up. Remember, this is a 100% late game build. The items are super expensive, so you need a lot of gold to be able to get to that point. Make sure that you just FK farm the entire game, guys. Get at least 2 or 3 core components and then you can start looking for fights. And before you look for any team fights or skirmish, you want level 13. That is the main power spike on Gangplank, as I said earlier on, because his barrels will decay a lot faster. They are super low HP, so if we had the ultimate right now, then we can easily finish off 2 of them. Remember that it doesn't really deal that much damage in the early game, guys. That's because it has insane AP scaling, and you also need a couple items before it really starts coming online. But if you build AP, then you're gonna notice the difference, because then it's gonna absolutely destroy people. So yes, you can also build AP items on Gangplank, like the Legendary Sanguis. That's also fun to use, but we are going for a full late game build, so we will only be building crit. And our mythic item will be the shield bow. It gives us some really nice sustain. You can also use that ultimate to clear out the waves with if you see the opponent just shoving into a tower, so you can deny them that, and then you're also getting that farm from the side lane, so you're actually putting yourself ahead as well. But your ultimate does have a really big cooldown, so you don't really want to waste it, but if you think that the opponent might be getting tower plates while also crashing big tower or big minions into the towers, then you can use that ultimate. Sitting on a 350 gold bounty. Have to watch out for ganks as well, of course. Just focus on clearing out the waves with your barrels, guys. If it crits, then that's an instant wave clear. It's gonna obliterate the entire wave, guys. So that's very satisfying to use those barrels, but it is very hard to hit the opponent with it in the laning phase. You don't always have to proc it with your Q. You can just auto attack the barrels as well, and sometimes that's a lot easier to do in the laning phase, especially when you play against an AD carry with a lot of attack speed who can easily take out your barrels otherwise. The really good poke combo is that you place down 2 barrels, you detonate it with your auto attacks, hit the opponent, and then you walk up to them, get a Q off, and then you back off. That's gonna deal a lot of damage as well. Look at that damage, guys, that's absolutely insane. That's also a crit, and he's like 1 HP. This is what Gangplank can do, and it's gonna get a lot better from here as you start getting more items. We only have 1 crit item right now, and we already crit. I think we actually crit 3 times in a row or something right now, so that's pretty insane as well. But this is what GP is capable of, and it's gonna get a lot better. And this is a build that will keep scaling even when you have full items, because we have Dark Harvest. Just imagine the damage you're going to get with a single ultimate because of this Dark Harvest. Also, don't forget that on top of your barrels scaling a lot better with crit right now, you're also able to keep more barrels. The recharge time is higher, but you're able to keep, I think there was 5 barrels right now that you can keep at the same time. So that's also another thing that makes GP a lot better late game and in team fights as well. So they buffed his late game a lot. But they took out some power from his early game, which is understandable because it was a really toxic playstyle where you just spam Q on the opponent and get a lot of free grass procs. We have the Essence Reaver and we have the Shield Bow. Look at that crit damage, that's absolutely insane. I have played GP a lot, but it's always so satisfying to get those crits, especially on your barrels, because you're gonna wipe out the entire wave. And if you hit an AD carry, they're gonna lose like 80% of the HP. Now that we are sitting at 40% crit chance, guys, then the next item will be the Infinity Edge after we get the boots. And this is why we're going for the Shield Bow, so we can get the Infinity Edge as the next item. If we went for the Trinity Force or the Divine Sundra, then we would not have enough crit chance to be able to make use of the Infinity Edge passive, because you need 60% crit chance before that passive kicks in. And right now we are sitting at 40%, and then once we get the Infinity Edge, then we are sitting at the 60% crit, and then we get that extra damage. If the enemy team happens to have a lot of lifesteal at this point, then yes, you can go for Executioners, and then you can also go for Mortal Reminder, but preferably guys, you want somebody else to get that anti-healing, because that attack speed is not really that useful on you. You rather have some raw damage from your items, so your barrels can really start hurting a lot. So just looking to get a lot of AD and crit as well. Your barrels have built-in armor pin guys, so that's not really an issue in the early game, but if they start building a lot of armor in the later stages of the game, then you can also get the Lord Dominics. So this is the problem right here, when you play against AD carries, especially a Lucian with that double auto attack, then it's very difficult to get down those barrel mechanics, really pop off that barrel, because they're gonna wipe it out instantly. That's why you need level 13. That is the ultimate point in the game for GP. Your barrel just gonna decay almost instantly, so you can get some really fast combos off. Oh, and as for the ultimate upgrades, you can go for the one that's going to put out more waves or the true damage one. I went with the waves one because that is the most reliable one out of these three, and then you can go for the cannonball as the second one. That is the one that gives you a massive chunk of true damage in the center, so you get a lot of burst damage from it. And then as the last one, you can go with the one that gives you utility, so speed up the bonus movement speed when you stand inside it and when your allies stand inside it. So the most useless one is the one we will be upgrading last. It's not really useless, but it's not as good as the other ones. We have level 13 guys, that is the... Now we are online, just look at the barrels, how fast they will decay, so you'll be able to detonate them almost instantly. Look at how fast we were able to detonate that barrel, because if we were below level 13 right now, then Samira would have taken down the barrel with her auto attack. But because they decay so fast right now, then you are a lot more reliable, a lot easier to detonate their barrels before the opponent try to wipe them out. We have a ton of gold as well, so we definitely want to base soon. And there's also a fight going on here in the mid lane that we should not have taken. Lucian would also have died right here if he did not see that barrel coming in. But because you are in the mid lane, then you can't really hide the barrels, because you don't really have brushes in the lane. You have to go all the way to the river here before you get to make use of the brushes, but that's something you can do if you play GP top lane. And of course, you don't always have to use the barrels just to detonate them. If you play in a melee matchup, then you can just stand on the top of the barrels, and then you can use that to stun away the opponent with. And because if they see you place down one barrel, a melee champion is gonna start playing a lot more, become a lot more careful. Because they do deal a lot of damage, and it also refreshes your passive, so you get a lot of damage off, and they'll not risk walking in just for that. So it's setting a 3k goal right now, so definitely wanted to base a lot earlier. So we should have done that, because we are looking to get as much crit as possible, because a single crit from our barrel is gonna wipe out the entire team. So that's what we are looking for. We just need to land one barrel in a fight and that's it. We don't even need that ultimate if we do so, but of course that ultimate can be a big help when you can follow that up with a barrel combo. So GP is best when you fight around objectives, because you have a lot of AoE damage and you want people to be grouped up. When they're grouped up, then it's a lot easier to hit all of them with your barrels. You fight around the dragon, the baron, around towers and such. That's why GP really starts shining. Work clear feels really good when you get that crit in. Of course that's not going to happen all the time when you only have 40% crit. If we had the flash up right here, then I would just have flashed in and then Q'd him and then he would still end up dying. Even if he got that lock shield. Because we have so much damage right now that we're just gonna wipe them out with a single combo. And if possible, you want to try to prepare the barrels in advance before a fight starts. You know, place them in the corners and in places where the opponents can't really see them. That's how you try to get those barrels in, because if they see the barrel, then they will just stay back and then try to take them out first before the fight. So we have 60% crit right now. We have another upgrade to ultimate, so we got the cannonball, the one that is going to deal a massive chunk of true damage in the center. And then we also get that insane damage amplifier from the Infinity, so now we're gonna blow people up. A single barrel is gonna win the fight for us, so that's your goal. Gangplank, just wait for the right moment, wait for multiple opponents to step up and then hit them with that barrel, and that's it, that's GG's. It's actually insane that Lucian managed to get the kill right here, but he does have a lot of attack speed with the Kraken Slayer, of course, and then he also has that lethality item, so he deals a lot more damage than what we would otherwise expect. They're gonna go for the anti-healing here, and that is because they have Vladimir. He's insanely fed as well. It's another late game super carry. One of the best late game champions, Vladimir, and then they have 280 carries who's gonna sustain for a lot, so this anti-healing is really gonna help a lot when we want to deny them that healing, so they don't just take a barrel to the face and then heal up back to full HP from a minion wave. You can also go for the collector if you want to, but you need to get that in the early game because it gives you lethality, and that's only good in the early and mid game. You don't want to get that later on in the game because lethality doesn't really do a lot. And right there, that was the cannonball, the upgrade that finished him off. So you can see it is dealing a lot of damage, especially when you get some dark harvest stacks. I just straight up one-shot the Vladimir. And one-shot the Samira as well with a Q. This is the fun part when you play Gangplank. You just wait for the 13 and then onwards you're gonna have so much fun with this champ. You just need to learn the barrel decay timers and also the 2 combos. And don't forget that that passive auto attack also deals a lot of damage, so don't be scared of walking up and auto attacking somebody once you get a full combo off. You're really squishy with this build, but you also deal a ton of damage, so if you hit somebody with a barrel, they should pretty much be dead. Maybe the survival like 10% HP, and then a Q or an auto attack should be enough to finish them off. That is insane amount of crit damage, guys. This is the late game power of the Gangplank. So the thing is, GP, when he was first reworked from the super old GP, then he was a insanely strong late game champion. That is his whole identity, but Riot nerfed that several times, so for a long time now he has been a mid game bruiser. That fell off in the later stages, but now he's back to being that late game champion again. Because they buffed that crit damage with the barrels. They also made it so he can have 5 barrels at the same time. So his damage is back. And guys, if they have a lot of shields and such, then you can go for the Serpent's Fang. That's really good against shielding. Because your barrel will proc it on every single one you hit, right? So you can really deny a lot of that peel from enchanter supports. But we are going for a full crit build, so that's why I'm gonna get the Lord Dominic's. You cannot get any crit item you want to, even the Bloodthirster. That's also gonna give you a lot of AD. But we're gonna get 100% crit chance as soon as we get the Lord Dominic's, and then we're gonna crit on every single auto attack. And Q as well. You can see Vladimir insanely fed. Normally he can easily wipe out people, but this is where the exhaust comes in. You want to be strong in a 1 versus 1 as well as team fights. That was an insane double barrel combo straight into the sack jump, and he just killed 2 people at once. So that was really satisfying. And right here I thought that Kaden would be able to kill the Lux, so we didn't really move. So now we're just gonna prioritize getting the objective instead of chasing that kill, because this is worth a lot more, because we are getting the entire mid lane. So now we break open the base right here, so when we win another fight, then we can just go ahead and end the game. But if we decided to chase the Lux instead, get that kill on Lux, then we will not be able to end the game on the next fight. That's why objectives are more important than kills. We're just gonna wipe out this guy instantly, guy. We didn't even need the Shen ultimate, as you can see. And we have that anti-healing as well, so he's not gonna heal up, not even if he has his ultimate. Look at that crit. That is the 80% crit chance. And that's the last crit as well. I'm not sure if that one actually crit, but we have so much damage at this point that it doesn't really matter, because they're gonna die anyway. So it's really nice that I was able to show what a full built GP is capable of after his latest changes in the patch 11.17, I think it was, just to showcase how strong he is late game. Because that is where he's really supposed to shine. So I'm actually glad that they put back some power into his late game, because that's really what made him fun to play. But that was the video. I hope this was helpful, and as always, see you guys in the next one.